to the big one, the final of Britain's Got Talent 2019.
Next up tonight is the magician who won semi-final number 4. And take it from me, this guy never stops performing tricks.
Too right. For instance, last Sunday night, he snuck into Simon Cowell's dressing room and made the buttons from his shirts disappear.
All the way down to there. All the way down to there.
It's Ben Hart.
I'm Ben Hart, and I'm a magician. Some of my earliest memories are with magic. There was a magic book in my local library that I used to keep checking out all the time. That's where I got my love of how simple a secret can be and how amazing the magical effect can be. I went straight out of school into being a magician. I started out working in nightclubs for tips. It is not easy making your living as a magician, but to win Britain's Got Talent would just be the best proof that I've been doing the right thing.
The most magical moments in our lives are the smallest moments.
I was very nervous for the semi-finals. There was so much on the line for me doing magic on live TV. In magic, if you make a mistake, there's no magic. So yeah, there was so much at stake.
The winner of tonight's semi-final, Ben Hart!
I've been doing magic all my life, all been building up to this moment. My dream has always been to share my magic with the most people possible, and Britain's Got Talent is the perfect opportunity for that.
The best pieces of magic, just like the best stories, have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And seeing as we're at the end of my Britain's Got Talent journey, I thought I would tell you about my beginnings in magic. And it all began with a story that my grandfather told me about his childhood growing up as he did in India. Now, the story begins like any good story a grandfather might tell a grandson. He said, "Ben, first I will require your imagination." So I gave him my imagination. He said, "Ben, when I was about your age, we witnessed the heaviest monsoon season in 1,000 years, where the raindrops were so big they were the size of mangoes, and the streets had all turned to rivers. One day, when I was sheltering beneath a canopy, I met a traveling magician, and he did something truly impossible. Something so impossible you will hardly believe me when I tell you, because I can hardly believe it myself. He had a fan of playing cards, and he waved his hand in front of the cards, and the cards appeared to shrink. Now, I can't tell you now exactly whether the cards shrank or whether maybe his hands just grew, but they did appear to be smaller. And he waves his hands again, and now they're just the size of rose petals. And he waves his hands again, and now they're just the size of blossom. And one at a time, the hair stands up on the back of my neck. He waves his hands again, and now they're just the size of grains of rice, and then sand, and then just dust, and then atoms that he sprinkles into the rising floodwater. And before I get a chance to look back, he has disappeared off into the rain. Now, this story had such a huge impact on a young me getting into magic. I was so taken by it because it was so vivid in my imagination. Now, in order for me to share that with you, you'd have thought I'd need big Hollywood special effects. But it turns out all I will require are your imaginations. It's monsoon season.
so good.
So good.
Oh, you're magical. Magical. Alicia, let's start with you.
Ben, I felt hypnotised by your storytelling. Every time we see you, you just get better and better. There's just something about you. I mean, you have magic eyes. And she loves you. We love you. And I think you're in with a real chance. What more can I say? That was just really special. Well done, Ben.
You're absolutely right. There is just this air, that's like your otherworldly air about you. You feel really ethereal and properly magic. And I hang on to your every word, and you're so professional and so slick the way you do everything. I mean, I just think you've got a huge, huge future. It was a joy to watch. Absolutely brilliant.
Ben, I will say, which is rare, that you are one of a small number who has got better and better from your audition through the live shows. True. And what really impressed me about you tonight was your first audition was massive, huge props, everything else. And actually, this was minute, literally. But it was the way you told the story, and the fact that you decided to do it that way rather than being flashy, I think has really worked, because you had a connection with the viewers. Your presentation is amazing. I don't know why you haven't had this break, but I have a feeling things are really going to change, because you're an act genuinely made for Vegas and TV. You work on both, so this is great.
You made those cards look smaller. You've made Ant and Dec look smaller just by standing next to them. But I think what it is the tricks are done incredibly, but it's like you are like the living embodiment of magic. There's something so magical about you. So, you did great.
Ben, I think Simon touched on it there. You started your first audition with a huge trick, and ended tonight with a piece of dust.
Yeah.
And was that always planned as part of your journey?
Well, I listened to the feedback and I listened to what the public was saying, and I thought, well, what better way than to end with just nothing?
Well, it worked. It really, really worked. And if you want to send Ben all the way to the Royal Variety, then follow the details on the screen. But not yet. The vote doesn't open till we've seen the last act of the night. One more time. Ben Hart, everyone.